Hello and welcome to another episode of The Average EV. If you've been watching my channel, you may have seen my video where I had to take my Equinox EV to the shop to get it fixed. They were able to finally diagnose it, and in this video I'm going to tell you how they fixed it and how much it cost. Let's get into it. All right, everybody. So basically about a week ago, I woke up, got in my car, this error popped up saying that there was some sort of issue with the battery, go get it serviced. So I was gonna take it to work. However, when I was driving, the brakes were making a weird noise. I didn't feel comfortable driving it, so I just took it straight to the dealer, and that was on April 23rd in the morning. I did later figure out, I'm pretty sure that the brakes sounded weird because the regen completely shut off. And then I guess whatever the car was doing to brake itself. But so I just didn't want to drive it. I'd rather just take it to them. So I took it to them. They did not have any loaners, so I then had to rent a car, which was annoying. For the entire length of my car being there, they didn't call me about having a loaner, so I had to pay for 8 days worth of a loaner, which, you know, is softened by the blow because GM does actually provide for their EV owners a $44 per day rental reimbursement. So I am going to get that, and it'll end up taking that total rental if you care. I rented from Enterprise. I had a very fun Mitsubishi Mirage. I'll just say that car gave me a lot of insight, and it made me really appreciate the Equinox. Like I love this car more now than I did prior to driving that Mitsubishi Mirage. Anyways, that total bill ended up being $467.15 for the rental car, getting back $44 a day. So if we do some rough math, you know, I'm gonna get about, you know, 300 some dollars back. I only end up paying $100-ish for the rental, so not the end of the world, but free would have been much better if they had a loaner car for me. So anyways, I was in the rental car, enjoying it, living my life. So they had my car. They did tell me, and on Thursday they told me they weren't even going to get to it to work on it until the following Thursday. And fortunately, that did not hold true. I actually ended up getting the car back on that Thursday. They finished it. So I'm not sure if maybe the other jobs went faster. Regardless, they, you know, got my car in, they diagnosed it, they figured out the issue. The issue was a temperature and pressure sensor for the AC system. And I'm actually going to read it straight from the service bill. So replace refrigerant pressure and temperature sensor. So that's what they diagnosed, and then they had to replace those, and then we were good to go. So just to talk a little bit about it, the dealer did a great job communicating with me throughout the process. They let me know when they diagnosed it, what they found out the issue to be. They told me, it was kind of funny, they had to like, once they replaced the sensors, they had to drive it 10 miles, and then they had to let it sit for 24 hours. That, I guess, was a part of the protocol, let everything kind of figure its life out, and then they would get back to me and they'd run final tests to make sure it worked. Well, they did all that, and then they let me know that my car was done and I was able to pick it up. So as far as that's concerned, it was a pretty easy repair. If they hadn't been backed up, I probably would have got it back faster. So if you happen to have this issue, it's a pretty quick fix, but it is not a cheap fix, unfortunately. And let's get into those numbers. So like I said, it was the sensor they had to replace. The sensor, guess right now below how much this sensor costs? $43. An actual very reasonable part. Pretty cheap, pretty affordable. So a $43 sensor. So how much did this cost in total? Well, just the diagnostic part to figure out the issue, that was $219 worth of labor and 99 cents. Then for the repair itself, that was $566.71. and that brings the total labor cost to $786.70, and then $43 in parts. So that's around, $820. And then there was an additional $65 for shop supplies. So I don't know if that was refrigerant or what else, but that was the thing. And then document retention fee. Always love a little extra fee there. And that brings, and then throw in tax. That brings the total cost to, drum roll please, $905.87. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. There it is. Woo! That was rough. Now, if you figure how many oil changes I've never had in this car, this is probably still cheaper than getting all the proper oil changes since I've driven almost 50,000 miles now, but it's still like, ugh, man. Now, some people might be talking about warranty. My bumper to bumper ran out at 36,000 miles. Still year-wise, because I'm pretty sure it's 3-year, 36,000 mile bumper to bumper. That ran out, so I don't have that. And then I really don't know if this would qualify under the high voltage battery warranty, because it's not necessarily a part of the battery, and I'm not 100% sure if this AC line ran through the battery or if it was for my cabin system, because there are two separate AC systems for the Equinox, and they kind of meet at a heat exchange. So I'm not sure if I would even have a chance to be like, hey, well, this is kind of an essential part for the battery. Shouldn't this be covered under my warranty? Maybe if you had this happen to you and you got it covered under your battery warranty, leave that down below. I'm thinking it's probably not going to be. It is unfortunate that it's just a part that I have no control over. It's not like if I brake hard and I ruin my brakes, that's my fault. Do you know what I mean? Or if I hit something, that's my fault. But this is just a random sensor that popped up. But so is the life. I've had a lot of comments for people nervous about the Equinox and the repairs and stuff like that. The reality is, every car has the risk of something going wrong with it, a random sensor, something here or there not working, and then you're gonna have an issue with it. So I just don't think people should be afraid of a car because I had an issue with it, because with our Volkswagen ID4, for example, a bunch of people had issues with Volkswagen ID4s. Do you know how many issues we had? 0. We had zilch. Nada, no issues with our Volkswagen ID4. And so it really it depends on your car. It depends on a lot of things. Maybe there's a bad batch of parts that they got from their supplier or something like that. So for people who are a little bit nervous about their Equinox and out they have it and they're gonna have this expensive repair, it's hard to say if you actually would even have the repair. It happened to me. I want to share my experience with you all so you know how it went, how it handled, how much it costs. But the likelihood of it happening to you, it's certainly not, going to happen. It could, but I don't want people to be afraid and stress out about that. Drive your car, enjoy your car. They're pieces of technology. Things are going to go wrong. I'm not saying expect things to go wrong, but just if something does go wrong, you're going to have to deal with it. Even, one of the most reliable brands, Toyota, they have issues. I'm pretty sure, I forget when, but it was a couple years ago. There's something with brakes, and they had to have this giant recall with all these cars with brakes. It happens to everybody. So live your life, enjoy your car. That's all I'm going to say about that. So as far as this total experience, the price stunk. The service with my dealer was actually pretty good, especially since I got it back sooner than they were anticipating. They were very communicative to me, which was wonderful. They drove me to work that day, like I told you all. So they were absolutely great. And it's also the people in the service center, it's also not their fault if there aren't any loaners available. That's just how the things are set up at their business, and maybe their leadership could figure out something in the future so people can, be guaranteed a car when it's not having a car for a week is a big deal. And most people aren't going to be able to either get an extra car or maybe even afford a rental car. Although, like I said, it's nice that GM does cover some rental reimbursement. So that's all I have for this video. Wanted to give you all an update got the car back, very pleased. Just as a little extra thing, because I'm probably not going to make a video about this, when I did get it back, finally got update 654.30. I ran it, it failed, but it looks like it worked. So if you've done the same thing, 654.3, and it failed, but it worked, let me know down below. The only reason I think it worked is because when you click like check updates, it'll show you your Android version, and I'm on Android 14 now. I'm noticing some minor differences, like where it says it has the mileage on the driver display, looks like that is like actually smaller. I also think that they moved the temperature, because I can see the temperature. I never used to be able to see that before. I still can't see the direction, but whatever. So I wanted to let everybody know that happened. Not worth a full video, but that was a great surprise to come back to when I picked up my car. So yeah, that's all I have. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave those down below. Other than that, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that hype button, and I'll catch you all next time.